Thank you for joining us. I am talking to Dylan Hornsby today, a Deakin University student. Do you want to introduce yourself, Dylan, first? Tell us what you're doing and...
Yeah, so at the moment I'm just finishing off my double degree in Arts and Commerce, majoring in Film Studies and Marketing. On the side of that, obviously part-time work, but I also make videos as well. So at the moment we're working on a contract with the City of Melbourne, making the social media and the marketing videos. So
fantastic. That's part of the reason I want to talk to you. There's lots of different things we could discuss in this video, and we haven't scripted it, and it could go anywhere, and who knows where. I promise I won't go to ball games. So you have studied ALC 203, Exploring Digital Media, Context of Online Participation, the last several months, last trimester. And you've been very active online. And I remember, I think you sent out, it might have been a tweet that you sent out in regards to LinkedIn, and it linked up to the work that you're doing at the moment. Can you tell us how that all came about?
So last summer, the City of Melbourne contacted my small production team, just sent us an email through our website's portal. And they were like, would you be interested in producing a mock video? And basically it was a request to quote. And this all started, I was having a chat with our account manager about it, and basically what they did is they were on LinkedIn and they were just looking up keywords such as freelancer, independent video producer, and they were just looking for all of those within Melbourne. So they contacted a large group of people to apply for that. Unfortunately, we didn't get in the summer job, but we left such an impact on them that actually when I updated my LinkedIn again to say that I had a internship at Deakin Prime, which is where we're at the moment, Michelle messaged me and said, are you still doing videos? And from there, it led to us having a discussion, and now we're on board doing the winter campaign.
Fantastic. Yeah. So it wasn't an immediate thing. I didn't know that. So it was kind of this gradual thing. But I guess the key, why I'm raising this really great example is that the key take home from this is you were online, you were visible, you were present, you existed, and you kept it up to date.
Exactly. Yeah. So for me, like LinkedIn, while it's not probably the social media of choice for myself or for many people, it's something that I've always tried to keep optimized and tried to, it's essentially an online CV. So it's very important to keep it up to date and make sure that people are seeing what you're doing. And in the case of updating it, people see those updates. And for that got Michelle to see my presence again and be informed that I was still existing.
Great. Yeah, I remember I had dinner some years ago with my cousin who's a digital media manager. He sort of moves for different jobs. You know, he's at the point where he can just do that partly through LinkedIn. You know, he's so visible and vibrant on there. And I just asked him about what his perception, I kind of knew the answer, but I asked him, you know, what do you think about the idea that most students, until they see me and even after they see me a lot of the time, are not on LinkedIn in second year uni? He's like, you mean they're not on when they start in undergrad? So it's a very crucial medium, and I'm not covering that in my current teaching, but it's just, how long does it take to get on there in a basic form?
I probably made mine in about 10 minutes when I first started, and I've kind of tried to dedicate maybe half a day per month, if that, to just update it, and that goes for like Facebook and Twitter and pretty much every single social media. I'll just spend like half a day making sure that I'm happy with how everything is and making sure it's all up to date.
That's a great strategy. I've actually started to do that in a formalized sense for myself, even though I'm on social media quite a bit. And it sounds like not much, so half an hour, a fortnight or whatever. But it actually, in a time poor and an attention poor society, it's quite a bit to get yourself to that point. And I've gamified part of my work, a lot of my tasks with Habitica. And I'm going to be sort of showing students lots of different apps that they can use to and encouraging people to gamify things. And we might come back to that too, because it's so easy just to let it slip by and not have everything up to date. So that's a great little example. In terms of segueing on from that, you have been very active this year on Twitter. The unit that you studied exploring digital media. We use Twitter predominantly as the kind of central hub, and that will continue in a lot of my teaching. But you also had a WordPress site. We had YouTube where people could comment and interact in that sense. We had SoundCloud, all these kinds of different forums to interact. What did you see as the value, or otherwise? Because you can say whatever. I'm not going to edit it out.
No.
Of being active online. What are the advantages and disadvantages, perhaps, of that? Because you were on campus, you saw me in seminars. But most of the unit was online.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about this earlier. Actually, I remember at the start of the unit, I was quite timid, and I tend to find myself like this in new situations. Is I like to kind of seek out and kind of see what's happening first and then kind of get involved. And that's what I did in this unit. I remember I probably put my About Me thing up probably a week after most other people had. I kind of approached really slowly, and I was just starting to watch how other people were engaging online and what people were doing on Twitter. And that's how I kind of started my online presence. I was just kind of doing what other people were doing and then just getting involved in those conversations.
The way that you stated it then, that's how most people do it, isn't it? That's how you learn Facebook. It's how you learn Twitter. You observe. You don't self-consciously do it a lot of the time, although that came explicitly out in the unit. You wait and see, okay, how many people About Me profiles did everyone look at before they did that? Would anyone have done it if I didn't give an example to begin with? I mean, it's observing, experimenting, trial and error. I would spend an entire year teaching Twitter strategies and still not be comprehensive because they'd shift over that year. So you kind of learn by doing. That's the key, isn't it? Learn by doing, experiencing, and making.
Exactly. And I think it was when I made that first mashup video on Vine. That was actually one of my first Vines that I'd done in a very long time. And actually, talking of which, like, I hadn't been on Twitter much prior to the unit either. It'd been dormant for like a year and a half, which might actually surprise quite a lot of people who would see me in the unit. But yeah, when I first made that Vine, I was thinking about how I could, at that stage, I was starting to get active, I was starting to be involved, and I was just trying to think of now different ways that I could engage and provide a point of difference. And I knew that obviously, Vine was something that you had put a few out on, and it wasn't something that people were really getting into. Like, no one else was posting Vines or anything at that stage. So I just decided I wasn't happy with the end of the year where it was like asking, if you want to get a HD in this unit, and then it goes to low battery. I was like, I don't like that answer. I'm going to make my own sort of thing.
So for context, I could explain for people who haven't seen that video. In a video I said, to get a high distinction in this unit, I think I'm putting on the tone of that. To get a high distinction in this unit, you need to, and then the film cut at the end, and it said out of battery. So this is what you did. To get a high distinction in this unit, you need to be active in online participation. So that worked quite well in terms of starting to show where student agency comes in. The student initiative agency, which we saw come out in that unit in so many different ways. I could have stepped back. I could have done nothing toward the end, and the unit would have kept going. It still is. You can check the hashtag, and it's still going. So that's, I guess, the key message, isn't it? While I'm not encouraging everyone to just mash up my videos, you had a great point to make, and you did it really well and ethically and everything. The fact is that the idea of the teacher being the mentor, the sage, the kind of the intellectual figure that you go to for knowledge. Doesn't work, at least in particular in the context of digital media. Definitely. Like when it comes to obviously being creative and everything, there's only so much that a teacher can tell you. There's only so much that you can be taught, and these traditional forms don't always necessarily work effectively in the digital age. Because a lot of the time, and what I hear from a lot of teachers as well is, you know more than what I do in these particular areas of social media and everything like that as well. And like, it's interesting to see this kind of convergence starting to happen where students have these particular skills that are going to be great for the future, but we are still seeing like teachers who are still
very traditional and working on some old systems. So there does need to have some probably some updates happening in some of the systems to kind of get them to a level where we are in 2016.
Yeah, and that's why I'm adopting all these kind of real world platforms, because that's by the time people graduate and move on, maybe those platforms are not necessarily redundant, but maybe you need to be on newer ones and more active ones. But at the same time, what you're saying there is absolutely right. But we also found, and you yourself, you said your Twitter profile had been dormant.
Yeah.
You hadn't been doing much. The digital native generation next, whatever we want to call it, it's a stereotype that doesn't necessarily fit people.
Yeah.
And that's not something to be scared of, is it? Because you found that you could just slip into fairly active, productive, creative use of Twitter for one thing quite easily. So it's just a matter of, I suppose, pushing past the comfort, out of your comfort zone.
100%, yeah. Definitely pushing out of your comfort zone. And that's what I was saying before. Like I tend to approaching like new situations very timidly. I just like to see what's going on first, and then I'll jump out, and then all of a sudden it becomes my new comfort zone. And that's what happened with Twitter. It became my new comfort zone. Whenever I had an idea or something, that's where I'd go. I'd share it with the group and ask for the opinions, ask for ideas and everything like that as well. And for me, I always saw Twitter as this forum of discussion. So it was always about, I would usually answer a tweet with another question, and I just want to get a discussion going. And obviously, with only 140 characters, it makes it very easy just to read through everything and then be able to reply very quickly. And because you have these small exchanges, you don't have these rants or anything happening. It becomes just very small little discussions that build up before you know it, up to like 30, 40, even 50 tweets.
And I see that again and again with active, engaged students. Your career's already started.
Yeah.
That's the whole key. And being active and engaged now can at least give you the opportunity to what I phrased in at the field trip, I think, as putting yourself in the position to take advantage of luck.
100%. Yeah.
So,
that's description of my life right there. It's always about just putting yourself in the best opportunities possible to be able to be there when people do have those opportunities. Like when someone opens up the door, you just walked in. It's one of those things where you want to be at the front door when it's opening.
Great.
Yeah.
Like making this video.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much for talking to us.
That's
Thank
okay.
you for watching, and speak to you next time.